Describe your siblings in America.
Well, when I came back at the San Pedro, my mother and Nappy was waiting for me. Georgia was working in someplace. Amy, of course, was already married and divorced and living, I guess, in the west side. So when I got off the boat, it was my mom and my brother. And of course, they recognized me. They rushed up to me. And that day, Mom had this pink, well, it's a little deeper than pink dress with a little spot, a little design. And she looks so pretty. And she smells so good. I'll never forget that. And Mom had the voice like I have now. It's not kind of guttural. And she said, trouble atta? That means, did you have any trouble? So I said, no. Oh, in fact, I don't think I even know what trouble was. But I said that, no, I didn't have trouble. I really did have it, but no use talking about it then. So anyway, so I fit right in because my brother was so much fun. He was like a Japanese Mickey Rooney, who was the probably top actors in those days. You look at now and you think, how did they live like that? He calls his father, father was really much older in the movie, and Mickey Rooney was short, and the whole life in the movie was so different. But you know, in Japan, we thought that's the way Americans live, but it's so different from reality to just a movie. And so my brother just treated me so nicely. So when I was going back to America, they all said, this is 1940s, they said, oh, you're so lucky. You get to see Gone with the Wind. So when I came back, my brother Nappy said, what would you like to do? So I said, he said, you can name anything, I'll take you. So I said, I want to see Gone with the Wind. And it was, in those days, it was one of the #1 movies that they had. And they had premiere at the Cathay Circle, I think, Cathay Circle Theater in Hollywood. And I got to go there. And I, like I said in my blog, that I couldn't understand anything they were saying. Their English was so fast. Even for Southerner, they're fast. And so I couldn't understand, but I knew what they were saying because of the book that I had read. And, the Gone with the Wind. So it was just, I come out just enthralled. So anyway, so afterward, when my friend Dr. Zifferstein said he hated, then I started to see it from different eyes, and I see why they hated it. It's like a Birth of Nations. When I saw the movie on television way later, I said, oh my gosh, how they portrayed the blacks. It was terrible. And in the Gone with the Wind, they were either, always kind of looked down. Only Mammy's the only one that was able to have an upper hand of Scarlett. But I remember the little Pekingese little girl was, black people just hated it. So that was my first memory of being in America. Brother Nappy, the one right above me, he was everyone's favorite, Mom's favorite. Nappy used to just tease her to death. And I used to envy him because he could talk so freely with her and just tease her. And Mom would just laugh and she'll say, oh, baka. Then my big brother George came back from work, and of course that was just nice. He was on the quiet side. And
what was your mother like?
My mother was so pretty, I thought, because in those days, anyone that's over probably like 40 looked old already. Not like nowadays. My mother had a pink dress, and I thought she was so pretty. No, pink dress was when I came back from Japan. Mom always dressed very nicely in Japan when she was visiting. So, but that was their life. And my sister Amy, when she came to see me, she was so excited to have her sister with her. So again, I hear so many people who came back from Japan into their American family, they have a real hard time being accepted, or the person will not accept the family in America. But I just loved everything. And my mom had a store, so she used to have Coke, and in those we were kind of limited, but Dr. Pepper, orange something, Coca-Cola. I don't think I ever tasted Pepsi. And the other one was a cream, very sweet. I couldn't stand it now, but when I just came from Japan, I thought, wow, what a neat drink they have. And Mom will make me sandwich, anything. They had a slicing machine, and they slice meat for us. And that was nice. Because I used to love ham sandwich in Japan at the one station. It's called Ofuna Station. And when you get to, every station has their specialty. So if you travel on a train like I used to, every station has some special, their favorites. And the Ofuna had the ham sandwich. They're very, in a little box they pack it, and the tiny finger sandwich. And it had a mustard and a real thin, nice ham, boiled ham. And there's no lettuce or anything, I think. Just the mustard, I remember. White bread, very thinly sliced. That was my favorite. So when Mom had all this ham and the other sandwich meat, I thought, wow, what a rich country. So I had a lunch, or even a hot dog. I couldn't stand it now, but I thought that was so cool to have sandwich, hot dog, and soda, cream soda, sweet soda. And
What did you think your life would be like when you were older?
did I think what it's
Yeah.
going to be like?
Yeah.
I probably thought life would go on like this. And I didn't even think about marriage, but I probably thought life would go on like this. Then a war came. So that shattered everyone's dream. That is Japanese people's. It didn't matter if you're a citizen, like we were, or non-citizens. That was the worst time for my mom. I said that before, but worst time for me.
So when you got the order that you could only pack one suitcase each, so who did the packing, you or Nana? Did you?
I think Mom did most of the packing. Like I said, I was really helpless. And I was still going to City College because Mom didn't want me around. And luckily, nobody ever called me names. And one of the Korean guy said, you should wear this button. It says, I'm not, or I'm Korean, or I'm Chinese, big button. So he gave me the thing so I won't be hassled. But I never worried about that. I don't know why. I was pretty optimistic person. I never look at the bad side. I have a sister-in-law who only thing she could see was the dark side. And I think it's a nature. I think my mom was like that. She always looked at the bright side. Even in camp she did. So we are very, very fortunate to have a character like that. Because you're going to have one life, It'd be terrible to be on a sad group. I'd rather be on a happy group.
Okay. You were mentioning right when Pearl Harbor happened, and then you had to get you had a staging area where all the Japanese had to go to, and then the buses or trains took you to Santa Anita.
Yeah, bus took us.
Okay, bus. So at the staging area, were there military
Yeah.
and
But
police?
you know, it's so funny. I can erase lots of that type of things. I can only remember kind of fun things in camp. And I don't remember being on a bus. And I know my church people came to say goodbye to us because they had no idea when we'd be back. And my mother's house was rented out to my church people. Their name was Mr. and Mrs. Friends. That was kind of neat. Nappy found them to stay at our house. So since there was no mortgage that Mom had, it was she was able to use her rent money toward the tax and whatnot. I never thought about that at the time because I had no idea that you had to pay tax, property tax and all that. But anyway, so my staging area, when I was leaving, all I remember is my friends came and were just crying. And I'm sure I was crying. You know, funny, a lot of things I don't remember. I have a good habit of not remembering things that was not pleasant, so that's it. But anyway, so when we got to Santa Anita, we have never been to Santa Anita. That's where the horse race is. It's the famous one. In fact, if you read Seabiscuit, that's where his home race course was. But anyway, so when we went to, I remember that part, but we had to sit on our suitcase, wait for them to give us our place to stay. Ours was a horse stall, and it was connected to all the way down this, almost like a half a block. And they had the heavy door, and so that I guess horses used to kick them. So they whitewashed it, but you could still have that lingering smell. But before we went in, my mom and I were sitting on our suitcase, and I don't remember them giving us a number, but according to the record I had read, they all were given the family number. Let's just say mine would have been 2022, something or the other, and all of us would have the same numbers. And that carried to, I noticed in Heart Mountain, they had the same number. But so that was part of it. And so she and I were sitting there, and my mom, I think she was quite downhearted, and Santa Anita is not the cleanest place because it's all dirt road, and they probably put some kind of oil or something because it was black, and so the dust will not be kicking up. Because you could imagine, after horses. And my husband's sisters, one of them I knew real well because we went to City College, and after the war they used to get together with all the Methodist people, and so I got to know my sister-in-law to be Lillian. So they had to stay in barrack. Like we stayed in a horse stall, but they had to make their own mattress by stuffing, I guess, whatever the material they give you, stuffing it with a straw to make us a bed. We were lucky we had those very thin army mattress and army cot. But it used to sink into, it had the blacktop. I guess they put the blacktop before we went in. So you could smell the tar, and the army cut, the leg would sink in because it gets soft. So we had to move it every now and then. So, but anyway, so I think the first dinner was quite bad. I have no idea if we ate lunch or not, but we went into mess hall. It was a long line, and there was one guy who was a known gang member. I can't remember his name. I wish I had. And he would say, anyone that's under 19 could have milk. So I happen to be 19 or younger. So I get the milk, and he was really very sweet, and people would say, he's a yogore, he's a gang member, so be careful. But that's almost like their code. You don't go after someone who is not same level as socially as he. So he never asked me to dance at the even dance hall. A dance place. He would see me, but he would never ask me to dance. But in the mess hall, he would just always favor me and say, "Oh, here's your milk for you." And anyway, so the first dinner that we had a cauliflower which was overdone, really mushy, rice that was underdone, and potatoes. It's all white. And Mom and I just couldn't eat. Mom started to cry. I'm sure I cried too because I just couldn't swallow. But Nappy and my stepfather at the time was eating fairly good. It's typical, So anyway, so that first night was sad night. But funny. Next day on, my mom was sweeping out our little a little stall, because it's constantly dusty from outside. And she would launder our clothes and even iron them. She took the iron with her. That people are always amazed. And you had to get the light from the only light bulb that's overhead. So somehow she could plug it in and had the iron. And Lillian came over, my future sister-in-law, and said, "Oh my gosh, your mom irons everything?" So I took it for granted. Of course she irons everything. We used to always have iron sheets in California, in Hollywood. Mom used to send out the sheets, pillowcases and all that, dish towels. And eventually, my stepfather bought the Mangold, which is a huge ironing machine. And you put sheets in, you kind of feed it and just make it really iron real perfect. Then they'll fold it up and put it away. I guess they'll try to save money. But Mom was such a neat person. So she, anyway, had ironed our clothes. I even have a feeling she ironed our sheets, but I hope not. Well, you had to wash everything by hand with those washboard, and I don't know where she hanged them. Isn't it sad? I cannot remember where she did all that. But they had a line someplace, and she would iron. Well, thankfully, Santa Anita was so hot that thing dried, and she would bring it back into home. And no one stole anything. That was such a neat thing. I had a nice shirt, nice pants, and no one ever steal things in camp. That's really, they kind of honored each other.
Well, you couldn't wear it if you stole
that's
it.
true. But in the house, they could have maybe.
Yes.
And the mess hall was like, we had a red, yellow, blue, and green. And for every so many people, we were assigned to the red. I think ours was red. And for easily a week or two, we had nothing but the horrible food. And one day we heard that they're going to serve hamburgers. Well, just a hamburger patty. Nappy and I dashed over there to ours and ate our share and went to the yellow mess hall. And amazingly, no one stopped us. Because they know our faces, but no one stopped us. So we had a second one. And third one, we finally started to get full. So we packed them in. The bread was always on the table. Bread, peanut butter and jam. That's why I think I don't like peanut butter, even to this day. But Nappy used to, Nappy had a method. He would put jam first, then peanut butter goes smoothly. Well, he didn't care, I didn't care. But anyway, so he used to make it. But this time we put hamburger patty in the bread, take it home, and my mother, of course, only had one, and she was happy. So Nappy and I had our little snacks. That was fun.
You mentioned Nana and how she had rent payments so that she could pay the property tax.
Probably, yeah.
I use
I'm just figuring now. I see.
Yeah. But
Wow.
but explain sort of what happened to most people, most Japanese who all had bought their house on time,
Mortgage.
on mortgage and cars and fishing boats.
Yeah.
So what happened in those things?
They lost it all because they repossessed the car. Ted had a Dodge. It was a brand new Dodge. And they took it away from him. And his mother bought the apartment in Temple Street in LA. And they had to just leave because they couldn't trust anyone to keep up the payment. Nowadays you could probably get someone to take care of that part, but in such a bad time, no one would take care of that. So she lost the apartment, and my mother lost her store, of course. No one would buy anything. No one would buy a fixture because they know she couldn't take it with her. But she took lots of food, the canned goods. One was a Hamanako eel, which is, right now it's like $27 a can. In those days, probably like $1.50. But it was a canned eel from Japan. It was just lovely. So she took those nice canned goods. She had no idea when she'd be back, but she thought canned goods will last, so she got that.
Did she carry them with her, or did she keep it in the
store
house?
In the house,
Okay.
Like you say, one suitcase.
Yeah.
All you need just your clothes.
Did you have any prized possessions when?
In a camp?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
nothing. In fact, Nappy took me to Hollywood to buy jean because we thought we were going to be in like a desert or close to it, and a cowboy shirt, like, kind of plaid like yours. And it was, when I went in camp, I was the only one that had the Levi jeans kind of rolled up in the bottom, and it was, all the other girls had just the plain pants. I had one real nice slacks, but I think it was a wool. In those days it was, I think my sister took me to go, she used to take me out shopping to expensive places, and I guess my mom paid for it, but I never thought about it, never worried about it. But anyway, Nappy took me to this Army Navy store on Hollywood Boulevard, and I bought myself a Levi's and a cowboy shirt and the linen. And my sister-in-law to be, Lillian, loved my Levi's. So she said, I would like to buy it, something like, I said, I could get my Hollywood friend because my church members were very faithful. They kept up the, in fact, in Santa Anita, people, they used to come and visit us until we moved to Wyoming. But before that, we had a weekly visit. And it's quite away from Santa Anita in...
Hollywood.
Yeah, where is that? Arcadia. From West LA.
Hollywood.
West Hollywood. So it's quite away. And those days, we didn't have a freeway except, I think, San Diego Freeway.
No.
They didn't have that. Not San Diego.
Pasadena.
Pasadena Freeway.
To
I believe
Harbor.
that. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't
Yeah.
go that way.
Mm.
But anyway, so they used to just come to visit us. The pastor came to visit us. Yeah, it was, we were very fortunate that our church supported us. And of course the church people had my mom's house, so when we took over, house was in real good condition. And not like some other people said they just junked it. So we were all around. Church people really supported us. So I think we're very thankful for that.
So how long did you stay in Santa Anita before you went to Heart Mountain?
We moved in October, so May to October, 4 months, no, 5 months.
Okay.
Wow, it doesn't seem that way.
And then how long did you stay in?
June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, 5 months.
How long did you stay in Heart Mountain?
I stayed until 43 years, but a little less than 2 years. We got out early.
Okay.
My mom was ready to leave because she got in a fight with these men who claimed that they had a shortwave radio. Somehow they had it, and they get all these rumors that Japan was winning. And Mom would get in a fight with them, including her husband, that Japan is losing. And they just couldn't accept it. They had a boiler room, where they supply all the hot water to the bathroom. Because we had a communal bathroom, wash basin and all that. But each house of course had no running water, nothing. But anyway, so they had a huge boiler room. And all the men would just gather around there, just shoot, breeze, and they just swore. When the Yamamoto and the Midway, they said they're winning and they're losing all the ships and Japanese people. And I think the admiral was killed in that. But they thought they're winning. And some people insisted, because America is not nice to us, so they put us in camp, so I want to go back to Japan. So lots of Issei's and their family has signed up to go back to Japan. So they went to Salt Lake City. No. Was it Salt Lake?
No. It was...
Anyway, one of these western place went there, and they're in Tule Lake. They're in like holding... so eventually they went back to Japan. And they said when they got to the boat, the ship arrived at Yokohama. That's where I lived. And one of those few docks that was still open. When they got there, Yokohama was flat. There's nothing. They were hit very badly during the American bombing, Tokyo and Yokohama. So anyway, so they were in shock. Then they realized Japan was losing. And so many of them I heard, I don't know anyone that did this, but many families that left America went to look for their family, and somehow they find their relatives. Well, relatives were so poor themselves, they had nothing, they had no food to share. So again, they were mistreated in Japan. So eventually I'm sure they all came back to America because their relative couldn't have them stay. And that's one thing I think America was big in this. In Brazil, they had lots of Brazilian Japanese went back to Japan, and I think majority couldn't go back to Brazil. And the Canadian too, they had a pretty hardline people. So America just good thing, because they all came back.
Okay, what were the toilets like in Santa Anita?
Very, very primitive. They had the toilet, American toilet. There's let's just say maybe 6 or 7, maybe it had to be 6, I guess, across, but there's no partition. Only the wall had a partition, a side, but no doors. So, I mean, how can you go bathroom without, especially me, without privacy? So I think my family put the nail on the side and put towels so that at least you'd be hidden from people. And so I think we had to carry our towel each time, because there's nothing permanent. But But eventually they put the door, thank goodness.
So was that at San
Santa
Anita?
Anita. By the time we went to Heart Mountain, they had a nice bathroom. They had even a tub. There's about 4 or 5 tubs, 4 or 6 tubs in bathroom complex. Before it was only shower in Heart Mountain. I mean in Santa Anita.
If I were to describe Lili to a friend, I would say she's an inspiration. I would say that she just lives so openly and freely with her heart. She's like very incredibly giving, and just a delight to be around. I think more than anything, just a delight to be around.
Okay. And what attributes would you use to describe Lili?
Lili is bright and kind and funny. I mean, the stories she tells sometimes can go on for a long time and get you laughing, so that you don't want to leave. I mean, I really could listen to her stories for long, long periods of time because she's really a great storyteller. Yeah, and just a warm heart and lots of fun.
All right. Did you know she has a blog where she tells?
I didn't know she had a blog.
Yeah, she has a blog.
She has a blog where she tells her stories? Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's great.
This is related to, what qualities do you like in Lili?
Lili's like a woman who likes to give, and the way she cleans at the mill, I mean, it's pretty amazing that we come in sometimes and Lili's cleaning out all the kitchen cupboards and things I would never do at home. Lili is doing for us here at the center. It's pretty great.
Okay. Any parting shots?
Oh, just love Lili.
Okay. So, how would you describe Lili to a friend?
If this friend didn't know Lili, my friend, I would describe her as the ultimate mother. Kind, giving, generous, humorous, again, loving. She just gives from the heart. She just keeps giving. And it's never about herself, it's always about somebody else. She's just totally a giving person.
What attributes would you use to describe Lili?
Attributes are, very similar stuff for Lili. She's, again, she's just the most gentle and kind and humorous woman. She's always had the spirit. And one of the things that I can think about is her ability to take adversity and turn it into something good. When people ask her about her internment camp experience, she always says, I had a great time with her brother, and then she says on top of that she met her husband. So she always looks for the silver lining in things. People don't know it, but people do know it. They know her, but she is very humorous as well. She's a very, very funny woman, and kind of a dry wit. She's not trying to be funny. She just is funny, humorously funny, and I love her for it.
That's interesting because that came out with all the interviews at Donkey Mill.
Oh yeah, her humor.
Yeah.
She's a Christian, but I think she's not a good and giving person and a charitable person. She's not that because of her religion. She's that because she's Lili. And the religion, I think, came later. And it wasn't because of the religion that made her so charitable. It's probably been talked about before, but she takes care of people over here. My mother is 93. She goes to the church, cleans the church every week, her church, her favorite church here in Kona. And she has at least right now 2 people that she's caring for. So that charitable instinct in her is very deep, and I think it comes from her time in Japan. I don't know, it will probably come out in several times here in interviews about Lili that my brother's doing, which is nice of him to do so. But at 5, she was born in Seattle, and she was sent back to Japan with her father only, back to Japan to live. And I think that was a real profound experience. And I think it kind of scarred her in a negative way, but again, she turned that around because I don't think she really liked being separated from her family, although she said that she had a great time when she was in Japan, made lots of friends at her school in Ferris, dear friends that she kept until they all passed away. Except one. The experience, again, I think it was hurtful, not harmful. It was hurtful, but again, she takes these challenges in life and turns it around to make a positive experience, and I don't know how she does it, but she just keeps giving. It's that giving type of. I kid her about it in sometimes a kidding way and sometimes a serious way, because I don't want her to overextend herself, but I shouldn't even do that, because that's her thing in life, is just to give, and I think that's what keeps her so viable and keeps her young, really, and everybody loves her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep, you're welcome.
With the light brown hair, floating light.